Just one round of 16 appearance for the Iranian. Tatiana Woollaston in charge of this one. Jiahui, on the other hand, has had a very consistent season. He's 9th on the one-year list, so he's in the comfort zone, but of course he's desperate to win today.
First frame, Jiahui to break.
Jiahui against Hossein Vafaei to play Siu Se in the last 16 of the World Grand Prix. And undoubtedly, Neal, one of the most exciting talents to have emerged from China, and there have been a number in the last few seasons.
Well, absolutely. You know, the semi-final of the World Championships, where he really should have been in the final, was there was talk of him being the youngest ever champion, eclipsing Stephen Hendry's proud record, but didn't happen. And as far as Hossein Vafaei is concerned, of course, he, as Philip pointed out, was not in this event. There are examples of some precedents where this sort of thing has happened before, with Stephen Maguire when he was the Tour champion in 2020, because Ding was the player who couldn't travel over from China. He was in the top 8, and then when the event was rescheduled, Stephen Maguire came in and won it. Not saying that'll happen here, but Vafaei is very capable.
7.
Best of 7 is a fairly short match, you know, on paper. I suppose you can make your move late, because we saw that, didn't we, with Siu Se, who felt like he wasn't really in the match, but eventually won it 4-3 against Ding Junhui. It's opened up the draw a little bit, hasn't it? And a lot of people are sort of looking at that draw and seeing the Judd Trump match with Jack Lazowski and, you know, Ding possibly waiting the winner. Well, there's no easy matches in this, but clearly he's opened up the draw somewhat. And if Lazowski can get the better of Judd Trump, then, well, it's a very different looking section of the draw. Anyway, that's all in the future. Hossein Vafaei playing on the 2 reds and looking like he's on the top one.
90.
I think it's safe to say that if any justice, it was because Hossein got in, because, you know, he couldn't play in Germany. He had to withdraw visa issues there. And really, that is what just put him outside the 32. It didn't help matters anyway. I mean, who knows how far he could have got in that event. Thought he'd missed out. Of course, with O'Sullivan dropping out, he's in. But as I say, if anyone deserved to get a stroke of luck like that, I think it's Hossein Vafaei.
He's making his 5th appearance in this tournament. He made the quarterfinals on his debut in 2020. He's been in 11 ranking quarterfinals. Of course, the highlight to date for him as a professional was his victory in the shootout when he played Mark Williams in the title match. Williams broke off and Vafaei made a winning break of 71. But of course, he's got greater ambitions in the game than the shootout. He's a tremendous QS, very exciting, attacking player when he's in full flow. Quite a passionate player as well.
Yeah, I agree with all that. It's a bit of a surprise that he's not had a good season. Maybe there's been, you know, issues, as I say, visa issues and problems of that kind, which they continue. They're taking the wind out of his sails a little bit. But as you say, terrific player. Maybe the incident with O'Sullivan from a few years back at the Crucible, where he decided to smash the reds all over the table. Eventually got hammered in that match, and there was a needle, some needle in it. Yeah, all that sort of stuff has just put him in a slightly different mindset. But I like him when he's aggressive. He's going to attack the bunch of reds here. They haven't opened at all, which is very surprising.
49. Hossein Vafaei, 49.
A nice visit. Disappointment not to land on a red to keep it going, so he settles for a 49-point lead. This is only their second meeting. C having won resoundingly previously at the Northern Ireland Open, but that was a long time ago now, 2019. 4-0 victor. I guess it would have taken a bit of time for Jiahui to absorb the loss in the semi-finals at the Crucible, because he looked nailed on to win at one stage. He was playing brilliantly against Luca Brissell, led 14-5. And was in the end on the wrong end of the greatest comeback in Crucible history, a 9-frame deficit overturned by Brissell, who of course went on to win the title.
Yeah, I mean, there was in that third session, there was a green that he missed, wasn't there, which was near its spot, which seemed to change the match, even though, of course, that was in the third session of it. It kind of changed the dynamic of it a little bit.
Since then, of course, he's been able to kick on with a couple of ranking final appearances, the German Masters and the Wuhan Open this season, after a quite spectacular performance against Judd Trump. Trump saying afterwards it was one of the greatest, perhaps the greatest, that he'd been on the wrong end of. Jiahui broke his highest professional break twice in 3 frames, including a maximum. Oh, that's a mistake, though, from Hossein.
Yeah, to hit that like that, so much of the pink. So there's a route back into the frame here for Jiahui.
One.
Well, it's a good chance, certainly, to get back into the frame. Of course, that red on the left side is potentially troublesome. I think what we're also seeing in this event is pocket sizes which are more acceptable maybe than last week in Yushan. Now, it's got nothing to do with me how big the pockets are, but it's an observation that they were a little on the generous side, or more than a little. I think now they're still decent, but if you don't hit them right, they won't be going in. So that red on the left cushion could be a potential double to middle. I don't think you're going to put them down the cushion very easily on here. It's a bit further down the line that Jiahui needs to worry about at this stage.
24.
3 reds and blacks put him to within a point here, so he's right back in things.
25.
He's very fluent, isn't he? Gets on with the game.
33.
Now here's a chance to move that red off the red, which is not always the best route, but I think now he's got to play to chip the red out here, because you can need it to win the frame. Played it really nicely. The reason I say it's not always advisable is clearly you've got no guarantee of position on a colour, but you could not have played that shot any better. Send the cue ball out from the cushion. A little bit of a delicate shot here to play from blue to red. He's got to miss the bulk colours, of course. Ah, that's nice. That is a nice shot. Could play down on the black here, but if he finishes top side, it will be the most beneficial. It's just to bounce away from the cushion. That's beautiful. Now it's easy to get on the last red.
Vafaei was playing safe, but caught the pink full in the face and left Jiahui this opportunity. And how well, to this point, has he taken it? Flying around the table, looking very confident.
I suppose you've got the problem of the pink covering the yellow to its own pocket. That's about it, really. And now playing it the way he did, maybe he can get on to the yellow to the green pocket at the top right. Surely he's not going to play the pink, is he? That is a big shot. Wow, this is a massive shot if he's playing the pink. I know it clears the pocket, but it's difficult.
Digging down on the cue ball as well. Wow, that's just too good, isn't it? What a shot.
I can't think of many players on the tour who'd have taken that on, as opposed to the black. I know there was reasons for it.
61.
He's still got a bit of work to do, strangely, because he's not straight enough on the yellow to hold easily for the green. So he might have to go all around the table again. 12 in front, he's up to the brown. Oh, goodness me. He's playing all the shots, isn't he?
63.
There's a bit more to do, but he's given the crowd some excitement with this break.
Thrilling stuff, but still needs those two pots. One good shot here with the rest should do it. Well, what a break this has been. Hossein Vafaei was looking good before he ran out of position and then made the safety mistake, but what a riposte from Jiahui. This for the frame, barring snookers. Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. Fantastic break. And some of the shots, you know, the cannon of the red, the pink, the yellow around the angles, out of the top drawer.
75.
This is very reminiscent of the kind of snooker we saw in that run to the Crucible semi-final. He was so dangerous from long range, as he proved just now with that pink. And doing his damage
81.
very quickly. It's intimidating stuff when he's in full flow. And that is as good a break as you'll see all week. A magnificent clearance from Jiahui from 49 behind. What a break. Almost exhibition stuff for 1-0. What a start to our second match on the second evening of the World Grand Prix. Live from Hong Kong. Hossein Vafaei in first, lost position, then made a safety error, but he might not have thought at that stage that it would cost him the frame, and certainly not in the fashion in which Jiahui cleared the table. A quite brilliant break, one of the best of the week, to lead 1-0. 4 is the target, of course. The winner to play Siu Se, conqueror earlier of a distinctly unhappy Ding Junhui, who made a very sharp exit from this arena. As soon as snookers were required, he was offering his hand. And there's another cracker. He's so good at distance, Jiahui.
1.
Yeah, I mean, when he's good, he's very good. And you mentioned earlier that match with Judd Trump earlier in the season. And, you know, Judd has been known to completely dismantle a player with his attacking game. And he did exactly that to Judd himself. You know, there's a big gap between his best and his worst. You know, many a player, their B game is sometimes what you really need to be speaking about. But for now, his A game is sensational. Sort of mid-range shots. I mean, like the next one, I don't want to put the curse on it. I mean, if it's a rest shot, then it's a little different as an entity. So, but his shots, you know, with his hand on the table are quite stunning. And he's playing left-handed. That's a different thing again. He's a very gifted player, isn't he? And there's no doubt about that. He's almost got hold of it too much there with his opposite hand. It takes some doing. Got to end the break here. Can't be looking at the blue, surely. He looked at it and now he's decided to roll up behind the green.
See Jiahui, 5.
He's missed the edge of the red and landed in the pack. That is the last thing Vafaei needed. Maybe a little shaken up by the whirlwind break that Jiahui conjured to win that first frame.
1.
Yeah, you know, the worst thing about that lead was the angle, not only to pot the red, but to get the other red away from the black, which came about by chance. But as you say, he's been rocked on the back foot by that counter-attack in the previous frame. It was sensational. And as you said, it's, you know, it's odd that these two only played once. You mentioned that match, 2019, pre-pandemic. How have they avoided each other all these years? Because they've been playing in the same sort of divisions, same sort of band of rankings. Both have progressed up the list, but they don't seem to have played each other.
16. Seventeen.
That's another shot at mid-range. He's lethal when he can get his hand on the table. And also, he really had to get underneath the cue ball there to avoid hitting the red by the pink. I want to say he doesn't know what's hit him, because he seemed good play against him before, but he didn't want Jiahui to be in this form. As I said,
20.
there are occasions when he plays below that and gets beaten by players you'd fancy him to beat. But his best form is scintillating. 2 cushions into the bunch, top spin. Good enough, although still not a straightforward red.
30. 31.
Well, he wants to avoid going into the brown or yellow, but go through the gap between them here, swinging the cue ball round the left side. Played it well. Well, he looks very good today. I mean, he's getting through the ball beautifully. The balls are reacting positively to his stroke. Timing them a treat, actually.
38.
I don't think he necessarily wanted to play into them here, but he may have to. He's going to need a part of those 5 reds that are blocking each other off. Deciding that he would wait one. He's not perfectly on this red. But again, this is his kind of range where he is lethal.
$46.
So the plan was not to go into the bunch off the black, but now he's perfectly on the pink from the blue spot. The target is wide, and he's not got a lot to do here. If he gets the proper split, which he hasn't, the break might be over, and the frame is live.
52.
Doesn't really want to play this awkward red because that's offering some sort of insurance, but going to have to get things safe. Oh, that's not gone to plan.
No, you're right. He didn't want to play it, and if he was going to play, he had to make sure he didn't do what he did there. So it was the one blemish, really, the one side of his game that maybe isn't as good as all the others. Safety and tactical.
So can Vafaei administer a similar sort of medicine that he had to take in the previous frame? Not exactly a gimme of an opener. But if he can knock it in and get on a colour, he's on the stretch here, he's not comfortable. There's nothing safe, so it would be a very presentable chance to at least get right back in the frame if he can get in. Yeah, we just saw Hossein Vafaei grimace, and that reminds us, as he's just about wobbled that red in, that he was suffering with some sort of problem in his shoulder, his arm. He wasn't quite sure what the cause of it was. I remember it was clearly an issue when he played Ali Carter at the Welsh Open and lost, which ended his hopes of getting into the 32 before winning the reprieve with O'Sullivan's withdrawal here. But maybe that remains something of an issue, Neal.
Well, no, you're right, because actually I was there at the venue watching that match, the 4-table setup, and he looked very inconvenienced during the course of it. He wasn't just slightly limping or anything. He had a problem down one side. Don't know what it was. He said he was going to go back to Iran and get it dealt with. But as we've seen there, he definitely inconvenienced slightly when he was trying to stretch for that shot. That's a good shot. He's still got the class, and if he could only do what was done to him the previous frame, it would certainly make for a very attractive remainder of a match. Well, he completely mishit that. He's kind of screwing back across the front of the ball that he's going to play next, which means you don't have a huge margin for error. He's only playing one red, and he's not played it well. Misjudged it, mistimed it. Yeah, he played on that middle red, as you can see. The plant is difficult. That's where it's a frustrating game, isn't it, at times?
Hossein Vafaei, 13.
He didn't play a good shot, the one before, but the plant was a little bit of desperation, I felt. It was tough, that shot.
Mark Allen still leading Jimmy Robertson on table 2 by 2 frames to 1. Robertson having won the third. Winner of that to play Selby, winner of this to play Susur. The round of 16 coming up tomorrow before we move to the quarterfinals on Friday. So Jiahui, having made the break of 52, still leads by 44 with 59 left.
Yeah, I mean, he played a nice attempt to get behind the green there. But I think the most important part of that shot was to cover the right-hand red, which he has done, but it was a kind of risky shot to expose that ball.
The danger here for Jiahui is the fact that there is nothing safe. They're all out in the open, so if Vafaei does get in next, you could make a case for saying he'd be favourite to make it 1-all. But will he get in next? That's the question. Jiahui sitting pretty in terms of the upcoming Players' Championship for the top 16 in Telford. He comes into this match at 11th on the one-year list, so he'll also clearly have designs on the Tour Championship to follow for the top 12. Very tough pot.
Yeah, needs a bit of luck here with the red he's closest to. No. So, Hossein with another chance.
1.
Pushed that red safe just now in playing the dump shot, and that's the only awkward ball.
No.
Well, that safe red might not be safe for much longer because the natural path is to head towards it on this shot. Oh, he's missed it. At least he played it at a nice pace, though, to land on the other red.
16.
Feel sure that he played to move the red there. Doesn't want to be straight on this, and I think the angle is not great for getting onto that red now. Don't think he can do anything with this. except land on the double, which of course the red is a bit far down from the right middle to make this an easy double. As certain doubles are easier than others, even if you're not, even if you're John Higgins, I guess. But this one could be missed. Oh, brilliant though. Very well done. What a chance to steal one back here.
He didn't pot that as cleanly, did he, as he wanted to, and that's why he's lost some pace in the cue ball.
I thought he might have gone the two-cushion route, which takes him between the yellow and the brown there, because you can't fail to be on the yellow that way if you get it right. The way he was coming, he was moving across the table, and like the shot earlier, he underhit. Now yellow to green from there, not a very nice shot to play. Goodness, this is even more of a horrible shot now from there. This is decidedly missable, this green. Ah, fabulous cueing.
36.
He's almost hit it too hard. It was brilliantly played. That was a very difficult shot.
It was looking likely to be 2-0. See Jiahui starting with that quite brilliant 88 clearance.
40.
And made a break of 52 in this frame, led by 57, but Hossein Vafaei showing his fighting qualities here.
Yes, he needs all three. He doesn't want to be short on this, because he'll be 7 in front on the black, and I think he's okay here.
Oh, the cueing on the green was brilliant. Although this is not a gimme by black standards, so he needs this to level the match. No problem. And what a great break that was. You can see Hossein Vafaei is still struggling with that shoulder of his, but that was a quality contribution from him to level this match at 1 frame all. First to 4 to go through. See you, sir, to play the winner.
Yes, I guess after losing that second frame, more than a bit of a setback, isn't it, for Jiahui? So those long pots are not quite so easy when you have been almost derailed, because he was like an express train, wasn't he, early on? But there's definitely problems for Hossein, and we saw it in, I didn't know when he was playing, and he's still got this problem. Don't know what it is. It's a nerve problem, I think. Well, it's a shame to see. If it's hampering him in some way, you'd be kind of surprised if it isn't. I mean, I don't think he's the kind of person who would be reacting like that unless he felt really in pain. He's a tough character.
And Vafaei wouldn't necessarily have practiced a lot in the build-up to this tournament, because, of course, he wasn't expecting to be in it until Ronnie O'Sullivan's withdrawal, and O'Sullivan had indicated he would definitely be playing in this before a relatively late decision to pull out, so maybe he hasn't been playing much in the build-up for Vafaei. Mind you, it was a great frame he played just now to level.
It's a good point though, isn't it? Because, you know, he's probably thinking, well, the World Championships for me, and build up for that in a week or two and put the practice in and maybe rest himself, especially if he's got this problem. So, you know, you're right, maybe he wouldn't be completely in stroke, but he did well to win frame 2 anyhow.
Seven. Jiahui, 7.
Well, played it well, but with the red so tightly packed, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Mark Allen couldn't get those 2 snookers he needed, by the way, in frame 4 on table 2. So Jimmy Robertson has recovered from 2-0 behind to level, just as Siu Se did against Ding before going on to win 4-3. Oh, he was up very quickly there. That did not go to plan, and he certainly left at least 1 red. So maybe Jiahui has just been derailed a little by the comeback from Vafaei. Remember, he was 57 in front in that second frame.
Absolutely. It might be one of those matches where players keep stealing frames off each other. Can be a trend.
1.
Sometimes feel with Hossein, he should do better. You know, he has won the shootout, we know, and you know, there's an argument that he could have won a more substantial ranking event than that in his career.
Made the semi-finals of the UK Championship last season and the British Open. He just looks very uncomfortable out there at the moment, even though he's got himself back in the match and has this opportunity.
Nowhere near on position that time. Not sure which red he played on. I mean, there is a red above the black which goes, but he didn't ever look like getting on that one, if that's the red he played.
Hossein Vafaei, 30.
Well, he's not left a direct shot at the red, but cushion first, he can pot it. Need a lot of luck on that shot. It's okay. Blue into the corner, missable, but very gettable on the flip side. Oh, dearie me, that was not close at all. And he winced and made a sigh. I'm concerned for him. He's not right. He did very well to win frame 2, but he clearly is not right. Physically, there's a problem.
1. Six. Seven.
Well, I don't know if he's got a good angle on the ping. He's close to it. Clearly, you wouldn't have thought the balls would finish where they have. That little nudge on the blue. Yeah, I think he can get down for the reds off this.
Fourteen.
Feeling that troublesome arm and shoulder for Vafaei, having missed the blue when he had the chance in this frame. There was obviously pressure on it anyway, because he knew he'd be leaving plenty if he did miss.
21.
Is it going to cost him the frame? It's a good chance for C to re-establish control after that wonderful contribution in frame 1, the 88 break. One of the best you'll see.
$27. 28.
Yes, he's on the bottom red here, the one below the pink. It goes past the one to the right, just. I made the point, actually, in that match where he played Judd Trump. The balls tend to hit the back of the pocket a little more firmly when it's him, Jiahui, than other players. I'm not saying he hits the balls hard, but he just hits them very crisply with a lot of authority, and they thud into the back of the pockets.
40.
They always say he shouldn't overhit, and he doesn't. It's just the timing of the ball, I think.
41.
Just a red and a further colour for 2-1.
Yeah, I don't think he'd be playing on the black here. There's no need to take that sort of a risk when, as you say, the colour is all he wants. Been 3 very interesting frames, actually, in this match. He could have won them all.
54.
Hossein Vafaei might be sitting there thinking these could have been mine. Had he potted the blue, they might well have been, but it wasn't to be. And Jiahui just re-establishing himself,
60.
having had the second frame snatched away from him
62.
by that brilliant little clearance from Vafaei, most notably the green, one of the shots of the week. But we saw a number of those in the 88 break from C in the first frame. It's been a thoroughly entertaining match so far.
68.
As always seemed likely between this pair. They like to go for their shots. Oh, what about that? Talking about thudding the back of the pocket. That was a blur.
73.
I think there's definitely something in that, isn't there? Just the little bit of additional speed that he knocks balls in. As you say, the yellow was brilliant. So you've got to roll some shots, but in general, he likes to punch the ball through.
82.
Not quite enough for the century, but this has been another sparkling break
88.
from Jiahui. What a talent he is. What a future he's got in the game. Oh. And wowing the crowds with shots like that. Another brilliant contribution from Jiahui, raising the roof here in Hong Kong as he moves 2-1 up. This has been a great spectacle. Hossein Vafaei not feeling 100% physically, but was still able to win a terrific second frame. Mr. Blue in the third, and Jiahui did the rest. Another brilliant clearance, including a couple of outstanding pots at the end to get the crowd on their feet.
It's a brilliant pot. The cue ball, is it bouncing off the cushion enough to pot the black? He'd love to. He's desperate to keep a break going, but I think just a little bit more on the cue ball. He might have attempted the black, but not this time.
Jiahui, 1.
Yeah, I mean, mentioned the winner would play Zhu Se. I mean, I thought that the performance of Ding today was a slightly strange one, wasn't it? You know, he started well. He kind of got a little bit annoyed, I thought, during that match. Certainly at the end, he seemed not to be in a great mood. Now, no one would do that when they lose, but it was before he lost. I think things began to unravel for him.
I think the third frame was the catalyst for all that, because Ding had so many chances and kept coming back to the table only to immediately lose position for no apparent reason, and he got more and more frustrated with himself after that. Never really properly recovered. He did make a century for 3-2, but he was out of the arena at a great lick, wasn't he, at the end of the match?
He probably should have allowed Zhu Ce to finish his break, you know, and just have that moment, because he didn't. Look, it doesn't really matter. I'm sure he's not bothered about it. And, you know, Ding is one of the great ambassadors. He's one of the great guys in the game. But today, his mood was not in keeping with how it usually is. Let's just say that. Disappointment of things going wrong got too much for him. But that's the game. For a Chinese snooker player, it's a great opportunity for the man that beat him. It could be an all Chinese match if Jiahui can get this match won. Opportunities abound for all players.
Yes, anyone involved in this match currently outside the top 16 on the one-year list can still get into the Players' Championship because of the prize money on offer. That includes Hossein Vafaei, who wasn't even supposed to be in this World Grand Prix. If he makes the final, he can be in Telford for another big money event. And then, of course, you've got the opportunity to go from there to the Tour Championship to complete the trilogy of Players Series events. So all things still possible for those still competing this week, even those who aren't already eligible for those events. Jack Lisowski plays Judd Trump in a blockbuster tomorrow. If Lisowski makes the semis, he'll move into the 16th spot ahead of Ali Carter, who was knocked out yesterday by John Higgins. Big if, though. Lisowski hasn't got a great record against Trump. That was some way off for once from Jiahui.
One.
And talking of the prospective match between Judd Trump and Jack Lisowski tomorrow, well, we're getting word from World Snooker that Lisowski is actually withdrawn from the tournament for personal reasons. And that means that Trump now gets a bye to the quarterfinals. So that's very sad news. Hopefully Jack is okay. But Trump will progress to the last 8. Lisowski has withdrawn from the tournament.
6. Eleven. 12. 13. 80.
Oh dear, I think he got himself so wrapped up in getting the black in play. Whenever you're playing a cannon, you can miss the pot, and that was a slightly complicated cannon, and not an absolutely simple pot either. That's a big mistake.
One. Eight.
Well, he's just a bit low on this red, and the other two reds clearly are something he's got to avoid if he can. I don't know quite how he gets away from there onto the black. They're right in the direct path. Those two reds. He's got to get into the cue ball. Well, he had to play it so gently. It's quite a nice touch there. Any more pace, the cue ball doesn't grip in time and he hits the reds. I think that's probably as far up the table as he could have managed.
Sixteen. Seventy. Twenty-two.
Well, he's got a plant, hasn't he? That's why he played the cue ball to there. A dead plant.
23.
He's incredibly dangerous, though, as a player, isn't he? He's a bit like a coiled spring when he's good. He just... such a difficult player to restrain. He just keeps potting balls. He's not in perfect position, but... you know, if he leaves it in the middle of the table off this next colour, he fancies him to pot the next red. He's so dangerous. But his angle on brown and blue are not ideal. So he's leaving himself at the kind of range you wouldn't want to, but in his case, you know, you wouldn't bet against him knocking this in.
27.
Honestly, you might as well just give him those. I think he's fantastic at mid-range, isn't he? What a shot, and look at the positional side.
Thirty-four.
Well, again, on the face of it, this is not a gimme, but he makes them look so.
Very sweetly struck yet again. It's almost a continuous loop, isn't it, of these sort of shots that he pots. His cue ball is not the most immaculate, but, you know, he's potting at 6 or 8 feet, 10 feet. Is unbelievable, I think. Another beautiful shot. How about that? Right behind the two reds. Oh, miscue. That was a miscue. Still went in and still screwed back, so it was an odd one. And now, where the balls are, which we'll come to in a moment, well, you'll see that he's got a very awkward shot to get down anywhere near a red this time. Got to avoid the green of 2 cushions here, which he's done. It's not perfect, but he's got a shot at least.
53.
And the lead, 36. Well, I mean, he's not going to get on the black off this, I don't suppose. That would be allowing him to get the frame one. So he will need something of those 2 reds, the way that the balls are placed, and he can't do so. Is it worth even not continuing here with this break unless he can pop perhaps a red to the right corner? Can he count these out? Yeah, it was hard to think that he was going to really be on the ball there, so it's a 40-point lead. In the context of this match, we've seen frames like this won and lost.
Vafaei was able to pinch the first from more than 50 behind. See, at the moment, has some insurance in the shape of that yellow glue to the side cushion.
Jiahui, 57.
Another terrific break from Jiahui, but the frame still very much on.
What a fluke that is. I mean, can he take advantage of it? He will need something high value. It has to be blue or pink. Now the red has gone in. This is unbelievable. Can't take the green. That would be too low in value. I wonder if the right shot may have been to take the pink there, you know. I know it's more difficult than the blue, but now with 34 in it, he has to get a red and a black, and the black was always going to be hard to get on. Red, pink twice, perhaps. Would have been easier, but nothing's easy. How does he get onto the black from this red? Well, he's obviously going for the pink so that he can perhaps get himself to a respot scenario. Always better to avoid that if you can, the extra ball, but maybe he felt this was more realistic. And also the ball's not on their usual spots here. Makes this a little bit of a difficult shot. Screwing back to the green on the pink spot. Well played.
15.
This would be some steal, wouldn't it? An outrageous fluke just now from Vafaei, missing the red by a margin from distance, knocking the other one in via the black.
80.
He's played that delightfully. Look at that for a shot. What position?
It's one of those matches you can't take your eyes off the excitement of the breaks that we've seen. Outstanding contributions from both players. 88 and 95 from Jiahui, 58 from Vafaei to pinch frame 2. Can he do likewise here? Of course, he's looking to force the respot.
Got to try and just run in behind the black gently. I mean, the respot is all well and good, but if he could have, when he got an outrageous fluke, he stole frame 2, might be able to do the same here. So we're going all the way to the final ball.
Yeah, we'll need an extra black to determine whether it's going to be 3-1 to Jiahui or 2 each. So what a big moment this is. What a difference this black will make to the balance of the match. Tatiana Woollaston invites Hossein Vafaei to make the call. He's won the toss and inevitably invites Jiahui to play first. Normally players leave cue ball and black on the side cushions these days.
Well, I mean, there's always a chance that you could play the double into the left corner. We saw John Higgins play one of those during the end of his win last week. He might have been actually in his match yesterday. Anyway, and there it is. There's the double.
What a frame. What a steal from Hossein Vafaei. He enjoyed that one. Suddenly the pain in the shoulder nowhere near as severe. Helped by the outrageous fluke. And we're level at 2 frames all. Quarterfinals.
Well, it's been an extraordinary match, actually, because 3 of the 4 frames that have been won by either player, in no way they should have won. A complete turnaround in the second half of the frames. None greater than in the last frame. You think back to how it ended the double, but earlier than that, it was an outrageous fluke on the second last red from Hossein that made all that possible. So, of the other steals, that one I think is head and shoulders above them all. Really, Jiahui should have won all 4 frames in this match. One of them he won convincingly. Anyway, it's a great spectacle. Should be an interesting conclusion. Well, he's trying to get the crowd on his side. He got them at the end of the last round. That double on the black, that spectacular double, and now he's saying help, as if he thinks he's in a lot of trouble here.
Well, he was in trouble, but he'll be absolutely delighted with the result there. He couldn't have hit that red any better. Just the contact he needed, and Jiahui applauding the shot. And now it's C with the problem to solve. He'll probably feel he should be in front on the balance of play in this match, but all back to 2 each after the dramatic conclusion to frame 4.
Yeah, target ball there in behind yellow. Not quite there.
Anxious looks from Vafaei to see if he's covered the red to this corner pocket. Black well and truly tied up, certainly to the left corner at the moment. Very well cued again, and nicely on the pink to boot.
Yeah, I mean, nothing seems to stop him playing his natural game, does it? Even the setbacks of a couple of the frames which he's lost. You wouldn't want to change him really too much. Very exciting prospect. Well, with the black tied up completely, you have to concentrate on slightly lower value colours, although there are enough reds in play to make this an appealing opportunity. You won't be thinking that he can't win the frame here, despite the black being buried. Well, I say the black is buried. There's a little route through to it from there. I mean, that's probably a ball's width through there. Goodness me. Well, it was kind of safe, but it can be completely cleared away from there with the 2 reds below it being moved here. I don't know if it respots. Might have to go up on the yellow.
$21. 22. $27. 28.
Well, look at that cue ball. He got right above the blue there. He did well to get there. It was all a little bit at close quarters. He just keeps on potting balls.
33.
You'd never, if you're playing him, I mean, it must be a nightmare to play for many reasons. One is that you can't keep him safe. And the other thing is, every time you might think a break's coming to an end, he'll drill in another ball and just keep it alive.
Meanwhile, a surprise result on table 2, the demise of Mark Allen, the Players' Championship winner from last season, beaten by the former European Masters winner, Jimmy Robertson, from 2-0 up, Allen. He's lost 4-2, so that's a great result for Robertson. And he will play Mark Selby tomorrow for a place in the quarterfinals. We'll show you the closing moments. And he scored pretty heavily, Robertson, after losing the first 2 frames. The match started with a re-rack. Took a while to get going. Allen then seemed to have taken control of things, but Robertson has finished very strongly. That's a great win for him. Currently at 21 on the 1-year list. And there's the handshake. Mark Allen gone. Well played, he says. Well played indeed. Jimmy Robertson now faces 2 times ranking titleist this season, Mark Selby, for a place in the last 8.
Yes, that it's a section of the draw which could have been opened up even more, because quite frankly, Jackson Page should have got the better of Mark Selby earlier. 3-2 up and in the balls 2 or 3 times.
46.
But Selby got the match one, and now he will play Jimmy Robertson. Anyway, that was a safety error, a positional error, I should say. I just don't think it makes any difference if he gets on a ball, really. I'll just never play on position because he knocks the next ball in all the time.
51.
It's a sign of his confidence, isn't it? Of course, he knew he was leaving this chance for Vafaei if he'd missed that blue. And he's already lost a couple of frames that he'll feel he might have won in this match, but it hasn't in any way inhibited him. Tremendous potter. This time he's overhit one.
52.
Yeah, I mean, he might have to not go for one here. I mean, it would be, there'd be no point. He could do with getting a colour safe. Of course, he wanted to keep the break alive. He's very reluctant to play the safety shots, isn't he? It's almost like the adrenaline gets the better of him. But the right shot is the right shot. I know he's not played it particularly well.
another half century, but still 75 available for Vafaei.
Nice defensive shot there. And of course, you know, this frame, he wants to avoid a repeat of 3 of the other 4 where they've been absolutely snatched away. So, you know, both players will not be thinking this frame is guaranteed in favour of Jiahui. The balls aren't that dreadful if the chance came for Hossein. But now he's in a bit of trouble with the safety shot that C played. How's he going to get safe from here?
Probably his worst shot of the day. He didn't get close to that one in screwing back, and he's left a red for Vafaei.
Yeah, and he, you know, he tried to really get hold of the cue ball there, and as you say, lost his accuracy for once.
1.
Now, are we going to see more of the same? Wonder if he can pot the red below the pink. If not, it'll be an early opportunity to free it here. But where would he end up putting the red is the problem. You know, would you just push it down towards the other 2 below the black spot? That would be no good. I think he believes he got an extravagant bounce off that cushion with the cue ball. It seemed to fly, actually. So that was a disappointing shot. I think we could really do with getting the yellow in play if that's in any way a possibility here, if he's not going to try and pot this. I think he's going for it. Goodness me, someone just running past his shot there. I mean, it could not have happened at the worst time. I'm so pleased it went in because it was a difficult enough shot as it is without somebody at the other end of the table waving their arms around. Surely the pressure though is building unrelentingly in this break. Things are getting more difficult by the shot here.
Yeah, difficult to keep pulling out those retrieving shots. So 40 the difference with now 59 remaining. See, Jiahui's going to need 2 more reds to win the frame. Goodness me. Hit that way too thick. So that's 2 shots in a row, having played quite brilliantly for the lion's share of this match, which Si Jiahui will want to forget.
Yeah, he was overstretching a little, but I mean, he missed it by a mile. He's definitely got a way about him, hasn't he, Si Jiahui, where the sort of mid-range shots that he can thump into the back of the pockets, he never misses, it seems. But other shots, of course, that should be easier, he seems to find more difficult, like that little shot there, the little run through. Slow shot like that. He wants to be careful. Not to throw away another frame here. We know Hossein is being troubled by a problem with his shoulder and his neck, but don't be fooled into thinking he won't clear up. He did it the last frame after that fluke.
Hossein Vafaei, 6.
Nothing wrong with that safety shot either. Yes, he's not snookered him, but in some ways, you know, that can be better on these because, you know, you've got a direct shot at the red. There's every chance he'll leave one up, whereas, of course, snookered, you'd probably see him roll up to a ball from the side cushion. It'd be very easily defended. Just a bit of pressure has come on the shoulders of Si Jiahui here. Very difficult to hit these thin from this angle. Very difficult shot, this. Easy to miss altogether.
Well, miss. Hossein Vafaei, 4.
I think I'd be having it back. I wouldn't give it a second consideration, personally. I think he was always going to have it put back. He just wanted a little bit of time for his opponent to think about it. The same shot, you see, from that angle, you can either miss them altogether or overcompensate, and the red can go as far up the table as the cue ball on these. Although that is a very good shot. Second attempt. Excellent.
He doesn't take a backward step when there's a long pot. And he's nailed it again. But he still needs another red.
Wonderful timing, wasn't it? Again on the red. It's just got to avoid hitting the black on the way back up, I think, here. Played it with right hand, check side. It's not bad. He'd like a little bit more on it, so, you know, in potting this red, he doesn't want to hit the one below it, but the red going in is frame ball anyway. It's tricky.
Si Jiahui, 6.
Now, what's the state of the table? The yellow was providing a bit of insurance to see Jiahui. That has been dislodged somewhat, but it's still awkward, obviously.
I think looking back at that last shot, you know, the red was missable, but I think in trying to do too much, you know, he could have made sure of the red there. I don't think position was so important because it was frame ball. The harder you hit that, the more chance something can go wrong. But again, this is the kind of range where C is superb. So a second chance to get the frame one here. Well, maybe the previous frames have left a bit of a scar because he just can't quite get over the line in this fifth frame. Surely not another steal on the cards. That would be unbelievable.
That's a great pot. Could he possibly do it again? He won frame 4 on a respotted black after pretty spectacular fluke prior to that. C has twice missed frame ball red in this frame. He's done most of the scoring, but he's not guaranteed to be 3-2 ahead. Oh, I was just looking to promote that red, but didn't quite get the edge of it as intended.
5.
Yeah, there was every chance that that was going to be another moment, wasn't it? If he could have got that red into play. He could still do this, but what he would like perhaps to do here is maybe push the red onto the yellow and playing safe, get the yellow out from there. Yeah, good shot, because even though he's not got the yellow in play, he's basically invited Jiahui to do it. If he doesn't play to get the yellow out, I mean, he's not going to push the red along the cushion, is he, and leave it on. So he's got a bit of a headache here with this shot. And as you can see, the yellow, the only safe ball. I'm not sure if he's fallen into the trap. He might be snookered now. I wonder if Hossein could just get in behind the yellow where the red finishes, though, I suppose is the worry. Is it going to crash into the black or the green? Well, does the red go? He's very lucky if the black's stopping it, and I think he must be. It's like the frame that won't fizzle out, really. Yeah, very fortunate. Because Hossein lost control. The red just lay on the side of the black. And this time I think he's going to push the red onto the black and get that into play. He has to try. Surely that's what he has to play here. Push the red onto the black, leave the red where the black is, and then send the cue ball right down the table. Can't think what other shot you can play here that's worthwhile. Done it well. Yes, he made the decision there not to get too involved in anything fancy. The priority was to put that red safe. It's a very dangerous table, though, if you're Jiahui to lose another frame from a virtually unassailable position, as it was earlier.
And he's had 2 chances to kill it off, missing frame ball red into the right corner, and then the yellow pocket, which was given his prowess from long range. Perhaps more of a surprise. It's kept Vafaei interested. He's been largely outplayed today, Vafaei. But you could have said the same about Zhu Se against Ding, certainly in the first half of the match, and he ended up winning it. And Vafaei is still punching in this one.
I suppose Jiahui has got in his favour that the yellow and the green are so far apart, and it's quite hard to think to get to yellow to green. It's not an easy thing to do. Although the match has been full of unpredictable shots and outcomes. Yeah, I mean, he's okay. He's very close to the yellow, but a bit close for comfort, but actually he will be all right. But to stun this across with the rest onto the green would be a very difficult shot to take on. It's a great effort, but I don't think the green goes past the brown. I think he probably played to get onto the green into the right middle, so cue ball just the other side of the green. It seems to be down to who pots the next ball, though, in this frame. Where the rest of them are.
.23 the difference, 25 remaining.
Hossein Vafaei, 8.
Well, this has gone wrong. He needs help. He needs cover. If the blue's got in the way, he's extremely fortunate. You know, it's amazing. I don't know if Jiahui's meant to win this frame, because on the last red, he was covered by the black. Now, that was a loose shot, and he got very lucky. That's a good follow-up shot, though. It's just a little bit of a worry that you just can't administer the killer blow in the frame if you're Jiahui.
He was up very quickly there, presumably feeling that the cue ball had run off a little, and we've seen other players gesticulate in that fashion, but he's got the snooker. Is Jiahui going to be punished for not taking those earlier chances to kill this off? Hang on. It's the sort of match you can't take your eyes off. There's so much going on in every frame. We've had some brilliant breaks, a couple of terrific steals. We had the fluke, we had the re-spotted black. Jiahui should have won this frame some time ago, but it's still very much up for grabs. Jiahui still looking for one ball, which would leave his opponent requiring a snooker.
Yeah, that's safe as well. These two have been going about 37 minutes in this frame. You wouldn't have expected a frame of that duration with such attacking players, but sometimes the balls dictate. as I say, I'd be a little worried if I was Jiahui. Nothing seems to be quite going right for him. And that was a good shot this time, not luck involved. And of course, there is room to go around the back of this, I feel, although even if he hits it, it's all in the lap of the gods where they finish. Goodness me, that is not going around the back of it, but he's hit the black. Balls have been moved. The replacement might not be the simplest that Tatiana Woollaston will ever have overseen.
So we'll have a slight delay here while the balls are replaced. If you're joining us late today, the news aside from the results, as Terry Camilleri's marker, is that Jack Lazowski has withdrawn from the tournament for personal reasons, so won't be playing Judd Trump as expected tomorrow. Trump gets a bye to the quarterfinals. Jimmy Robertson this afternoon has upset Mark Allen by 4 frames to 2 from 2-0 behind. So he'll play Mark Selby tomorrow. The winner of this to play Siu Se, who knocked out Ding Junhui from 2-0 behind in this evening session.
Ball, the miss.
Proving to be a very effective snooker, this, for Vafaei.
I didn't think it was that difficult. You know, he's missed it on both sides now. He's missed it to the black side of the shot of one cushion and hit the black. This time he sort of slid past the left side. And there is still that way of going around the back of it, which he still hasn't explored yet. Until now. Exactly what he's done there. Goodness, he's giving away all kinds of points.
6, free ball.
Free ball as well, although
it's going back,
sure
isn't it?
this will be going back, yeah. See Jiahui's lead fast evaporating before his eyes.
Missed it in 3 different ways. Either side and behind it. Wow, this is just giving points away all over the place now. He might not be in front for very much longer, and the frame was virtually his. Don't forget, with 2 reds left, he missed frame ball, and he hasn't ever really recovered from that, has he? Balls sometimes don't forgive you.
Missed it twice.
Especially thinking about the one where he was in the red below it. That was the one, wasn't it, into the right corner? Seems a distant memory now. Well, he is behind now. Leaving a free ball, and this time I suspect he'll take it. Why would you have them replaced? He's got the perfect shot here. Or has he? Is it a little too straight? Wow. I don't think that's really why the miss rule was, you know, invented to refuse a shot like that, to have the balls replaced. But there you are. If had he a bit more angle on the shot, clearly he would have played it.
Going for the swerve again. And finally.
Well, there you are. Hossein now might wish that he had have tried to force that pink in, but even then, perhaps getting on the green was the problem. Bit of an epic, isn't it, this frame now? 40 minutes or so. It's quite a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, he can't really hit the left side of the green as we look, because I think it would come off the blue and might go quite close to the right middle, which you get this far, you don't just present the frame back. He's managed to hit it very thin, but he has given a chance, unless he gets some cover again. And I wonder if he's going to be as fluent with this opportunity, because he really has hit the rails a bit here. And it's another chance, though, for C. First for a while.
Of course, the difference now is that before the snooker that Vafaei laid, C only needed one pot. Now he's behind. Well, applause from the crowd, but that's not worked out as he wanted.
All adrenaline, wasn't it? I mean, he didn't mean to screw back anything like that far.
Given the way this frame has gone, it would be something of a surprise now if Jiahui does win it, because he feels, or must feel, fated not to. I'm sure he'll feel he should have hit that snooker a bit earlier than he did, which has left him needing the extra points.
Jiahui, 3.
Well, you can see the disappointment that he's left a chance. Gone a little too far. Had he been right behind this blue, I don't think there's any way he wouldn't have potted the blue and pink and won the frame. Now he's just got to control the cue ball from this shot. Screwing it in. It's really well played. What a steal. This is unbelievable, the way these frames are being won. Hossein could have lost all of these frames that he's picking up.
An incredible frame for sure. Nearly 46 minutes in length, and somehow Hossein Vafaei has won it. Jiahui had clear chances to do so. He missed frame ball twice. He failed to get out of a snooker on multiple occasions. It's been pinched from him. Incredible. So Jiahui is back. No wonder he needed a bit of time to reflect on quite how frame 5 got away from him. 3-2 Vafaei for the target to place Hussein in round 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say it again. It's the 3 frames that Hossein has won. He had very little chance of winning any of them, really. Yeah, it's just a huge turnaround. If you only saw the previous frame, I mean, the earlier frames were quite similar. Well, interestingly, not taking on that red. I thought that red passed the bunch and was potable. Yeah, I mean, I think the frame where Hossein got the outlandish fluke on 2 reds and cleared, and won it on a respot, which he doubled, was one thing. The last frame was Same, the first of the frames that he won was equally as unlikely. And he finds himself in front in a match where we've seen a lot of brilliance from Jiahui, but not necessarily at the end of frames. That's the problem. That's why he, you know, he's not yet a world beater, although he looks like one at times. Well, this is another one of these shots that he knocks in so frequently. But as I say, the dynamics of this match have changed a bit since earlier.
One.
But some things never change. Great shot.
Six. Seven.
Yeah, I mean, the black away from its spot is one thing, but the black spot is pretty congested anyway, so you wouldn't necessarily want to be on it yet. Just completely tied up. He took a long break, didn't he, after the previous frame? Jiahui, you know, he must have been giving himself a talking to or something. I'm not sure, because you know, he's come back more purposeful, I guess. He was being worn down, I think, by the way that the frames were going. He's come back with seemingly renewed vigour, although he's a little between shots here.
$25.
Oh, that's nice. That's a very nice shot. He didn't have too much right-hand side on that, or else it would have been hard to stay down that particular side of the table to play that shot. He would have just disappeared down the centre. bit unlucky he played it plain ball again, trying to stay down one side of the table
36.
without a lot of helping side intervening in the shot. But in the jaw, the middle pocket, it ends the break. And the other thing about the way these frames have gone, he's led by a pretty healthy margin in all of them.
Jiahui, 36.
I only won 2 of them.
It was a great clearance from Vafaei to level the match at 1-1, and then the luck that he got with the fluke before pinching the 4th on the respotted black, and then the 5th even more unlikely. But he came up with the goods when it mattered, and he's found a red early in this frame that he needs for an unlikely victory in a tournament he wasn't supposed to be in.
Hossein Vafaei, 1. Foul. Miss.
Well, it either goes back or if anything pops to the right corner, he will play it, but seemingly not. I think he must have just tried to drop off one cushion into the red directly to the right of the pink ball. He didn't get that close to getting the shot right.
See?
Has he left the red? Yeah, I think he has. That's a chance now. That you're talking about a very big turnaround here. One thing to win all these frames, but this is a chance to gain a very unlikely win in the match itself, because he wasn't in the tournament until Ronnie O'Sullivan withdrew. It was probably the stroke of good luck he needed, having missed a couple of tournaments. Missed the German because he couldn't get a visa, and that did not help his entry into the top 32 on the one-year list. So he got a bit of luck. This match has been, well, all sorts happening, quite honestly. Four of the 5 frames won have been huge turnarounds.
Thank you. 7. 8. 13.
Yeah, the right-hand red of the three, with the pink in between them, you know, it's an awkward shot to get onto a colour from. And the other difficulty, of course, he's got this problem with his shoulder and neck. Certain shots he's wincing as if he's in genuine discomfort. It was the same when he was in Wales. It's not really hampering his shots that much when he's down on them. But this is tough.
$14.
It's a brilliant idea to just chip the pink into play. It's gone a bit further than he would like it to, but this could open the two reds as well. It's a big shot now.
He's made just one 50 break in this match for Vafaei. That was in the second frame, which he pinched.
Yeah, whereas Jiahui's made 5 breaks over 50, hasn't he? It's amazing. He's made 50 plus in all of the frames he's lost. Now, where does the pink go? Back on its own spot. A realistic chance to win the match here. Although, where the pink's going to be put by Tatiana Woollaston, he's not helping. I see the green's away from his spot. I'm assuming the green spot is not free. Oh.
Hossein Vafaei.
Concentration maybe just lost there. That was a sitter.
Could still be plenty of life left in this frame, given the position of the remaining reds, awkward ones. Sure, Jiahui is still a bit puzzled as to how he's in this situation, having to win this frame to stay in the tournament, having made that hatful of breaks. But 3 frames snatched from his grasp.
Another Jiahui special, but I say these are becoming more difficult due to the circumstances of the match. But he has been absolutely drilling in these sort of shots the whole match. Not this time. Pressure is building. He knocked in umpteen of those. Well, the brown doesn't look like it goes, does it? But it's just below its spot, so perhaps it is potable. Well, he's not finished in a very promising place, but being low on the red means that he can disturb red and pink, so it will be a big shot. Deciding it's all a bit too much playing that one. This is tougher. Very well played. I feel that even this frame has got a few more twists in it, like most of them. Well, I think it will cut in.
8.
Of course, the last two reds, having seen this one potted, are in very different positions. He might hit the red and the pink here, actually, off the cushion. He's gone too far up the table.
9.
I think the yellow is the most natural shot to move a red out of the ones he's got. It's a lovely cannon, although he's never going to be perfectly behind it.
11.
The score's a level, but that doesn't really tell the story of this frame either.
12.
Jiahui has been in first in every single frame of this match. He's made half centuries in all 3 of the frames he's lost, as well as 2 of the best breaks you'll see, 88 and 95 in the frames he won. This frame, no exception, in first. Now Vafaei edging in front in the frame he needs for what would be quite a remarkable victory, all things considered.
Hossein Vafaei, 12.
Slightly unusual shot, wasn't it? I expected to see him screwing back as if he was going to try and take the cue around the angles to get on the red. If he's got the snooker, it's actually quite a difficult one because, you know, there might be a little edge sticking out, but if there's not, it might not be as easy to hit as all that. So it might turn out to be a clever shot that Hossein has played, and the referee, Tatiana, will have to be very close to the action here to make sure it's red first and not black first. There she goes, as ever, on top of the situation. Very well played. Very sound contact made with the last 2 snookers for Jiahui. That was a good shot. I'm saying missing the chance to snooker him a 3rd time behind the bolt colours. again, keeping distance between the two balls there was key. Well, that's worked out particularly well. It was a risky type of shot because the red was going to go somewhere near the right corner, but he's found the cover behind the green, which wouldn't have always happened.
Obviously, the snooker is overrunning as a result of this dramatic match. Of course, we're due to start our Champions League coverage of the match between Feyenoord and Inter Milan here on TNT Sports 2 very shortly. But you can continue to watch the snooker. It'll be available on TNT Sports 6 and, of course, also on Discovery Plus. So you're guaranteed to be watching the climax of this match, however much longer it goes on for. We could still have another frame at the end of this one. That remains to be seen. But our coverage of Feyenoord against Inter Milan in the Champions League coming up very shortly on TNT Sports 2.
Well, he had all of the three bolt colours there to line up for the snooker, which he's got. Two cushion escape. Oh, he hit it. He didn't hit much of it, but he hit some of it. Just wavered slightly, the red.
Just a reminder then, we will be leaving the snooker here on TNT Sports 2 in a couple of minutes' time, but you can continue to watch the climax of this match on TNT Sports 6. We'll be joining Feyenoord against Inter Milan very shortly here on TNT Sports 2, and the snooker will also continue digitally, of course, on Discovery Plus. Couldn't have got any closer. Happily for Vafaei, the red has run into a safe spot. Looks as though it's covered by the pink in any case.
Well, that's a mistake, leaving the red on. Although with the yellow safe, it's still quite a bit to do here, but if he pots this red, he is basically in charge of the frame. It's his to lose from here, if the red goes.
So we say goodbye to our viewers of the snooker here on TNT Sports 2. We're about to join the UEFA Champions League match between Feyenoord and Inter Milan, but you can continue to watch the snooker on TNT Sports 6 and on Discovery Plus. The question remains, will we need a seventh and deciding frame to determine who will play Jiahui for a place in the quarterfinals of the World Grand Prix? It's been an extraordinary match. Jiahui has made all the running, he's made almost all the breaks, and yet he's one down with two to play.
Well, that looks pretty good. If he's on the green, it'll just run through onto the yellow. Not a lot to do here. He'd be three in front now, so
4.
up to it, including the blue and the pink. Of course, the safe ball he won't necessarily acquire.
6. Nine.
So, it looks like we are going to go all the way now, barring a snooker. This pretty much a formality of a shot on the blue. And roll the pink over the pocket.
18.
On the balance of play, it frankly would have been scandalous if Jiahui hadn't got himself to a decider. Sometimes you don't get what you deserve in this sport, but he's managed to tough it out in this frame to give himself the chance of getting through to the next round in a one-frame shootout. And in goes the pink. Happily no curfew anymore for this tournament. All the fans can stay and watch the finale. It's been a terrific contest, and we need a 7th and final frame to determine who will move through here in Hong Kong.
Thank you, deciding frame. Jiahui to break.
Here we go then. Here's the handshake for what promises to be a thrilling deciding frame in a thoroughly compelling match between Jiahui and Hossein Vafaei. C to get us underway. See you, sir, to play the winner.
Well, that's not a bad kiss. Of course, when you miss those pots, you want the cue ball to avoid all the baulk colours and head to the baulk cushion. When the ball goes in, you're looking for that kind of a nudge. Well, that's no good at all. Cue ball has just slid past everything there.
5. Hossein Vafaei, 5.
plenty of tension around. Very late at night. It's gone 1 a.m. here in Hong Kong. But plenty of incident in the match. Well, that was a bit unfortunate to get that kiss. The red was going nowhere near that right corner until he hit the bolt colours.
One.
Well, clearly that's not great either, so it seems like both players just cannot get away from their opponents. Just taking the cue ball away from the Reds here the best he can.
Hossein Vafaei, 1.
Well, those 3 bolt colours are really good targets, aren't they, to get the cue ball behind. He may have left just a route through, and that's what Tatiana Woollaston is looking into, because she might have to, of course, replace the balls. So she's going to have to know where they are. There's definitely a gap, as you can see. Yeah, that's not quite the safety shot he's looking for. Again, it's the same problem with Jiahui. You leave him hand on table and something to go at, he normally knocks them in. But of course, it becomes more difficult the deeper into a match like this you get. Oh dear. Well, the balls are just getting in each other's way again there. The red to middle, had the blue not been in the way, would have been quite straightforward. Could be a gap through to the right-hand red here, which is the next best thing, I would say, to the easy red to middle.
One. Terry the clock.
It would be ironic if Jiahui were to end up losing this extraordinary match, having missed a long pot, because he missed virtually nothing in that regard for the first 2/3 of it. Of course, the pressure now is that much greater. It's a match he probably feels he should have won already. And now he's wondering if he'll get a chance in this decider from here. It's in Vafaei's hands.
7.
Yeah, it would be a
8.
famous victory, actually, you know, given a lot of the circumstances. He wasn't in the event, had problems getting into the 32 anyway with visa issues and some ongoing physical health problems, I think, in North Wales. at the Welsh Open. A lot of things have conspired against him, but he still seems to be battling on.
14.
And maybe just being allowed into this event, albeit for the unfortunate withdrawal of Ronnie O'Sullivan, just you know, allowed him this chance really.
On the big screen, okay? Yeah, so just carry on.
Something else is conspiring against him. The scores have gone wrong or something. That's probably the only thing that hasn't happened tonight. But he doesn't want his flow broken, so they're not going to stop, just carrying on.
His highest break of the match remains a solitary half century, a 58 in frame 2 to steal that one. And of course, he's stolen a couple of others as well. Just shows, though, that
22.
the big breaks are only one part of this sport. There's so many other facets to it. And he has shown a lot of mettle to come from behind so often this evening. Yes, he got the benefit of the fluke
23.
in the 4th frame, which helped him to force the respotted black, but he's also shown a lot of tenacity, even though we have seen him grimacing on more than one occasion with that shoulder issue, whatever it may be. And now the place in the last 16 is very much in his hands.
$31.
Well, it's just a continuation, isn't it?
38.
This match, you just can't see somebody getting a clean kill in a frame. And you almost can foresee some sort of a comeback from Jiahui. There is a ready can pot, that very thin red, and it's really difficult, which might keep the break going, but you don't want to be playing these particularly unless you have to. He's done ever so well, hasn't he? What a
39.
potter. Different sort of a player to the man he's playing. But that was a lovely thin cut. Is he going to play the yellow, which takes him down to the reds, or trying to nail the frame down by playing the snooker behind the brown off the green? I think his opponent would have taken the yellow,
39.
for what it's worth.
This is the first time in the match that Jiahui has not been in first. He'll be grateful just to be back at the table, albeit snookered. That's not going to reach.
Foul. No miss.
An interesting choice, though, wasn't it, not to go for that yellow? It looked as if it was a natural to come down the left side of the table. And you feel that he was so close with that last shot, Jiahui, that the line is good. He'll probably hit it sooner rather than later. And those 4, 8 or 12 points might not count for anything where the balls are.
Foul. No miss.
Almost a replica of the previous. It's a good effort. And while Hossein will be looking at this red down the cushion, he'll be having it put back all day long. Yeah, I'm pleased to see him hit that, actually. You don't really want to see matches decided on various misses being called. And as I say, we'll only know at the end of the match, but Hossein could have easily played the yellow. Yes, he's gained 8 points from it, but if he gets on the red to the right corner from the left side, the match doesn't really involve Jiahui coming back to the table at all. There must be something about it he didn't like.
Touch and ball.
Well, that wasn't part of the plan, leaving a touching ball. C obviously deemed to have hit the red already, so he can play away.
Yeah, I mean, if he wasn't queuing over the top of this red, you'd fancy him to get in behind the yellow, because that's what he's aiming for. Maybe he can still do it. No, not quite. I think something about that shot queuing over a ball, it's so hard to hit the cue ball in the centre. So, Hossein, this is the biggest shot of the match so far. And he stroked it in delightfully.
What a big shot. And what an opportunity now for Hossein Vafaei. Pretty close already to the winning line, 54 in front.
Eight. Nine.
That was the key one, really. And he's thumped it in, so just this black required. And Jiahui will need a snooker.
Yeah, and what a remarkable match this has been. Every frame has been like an event, really, with huge twists.
No heroics on the black. He'll be wondering
16.
how this match has got away. At times he's played some quite brilliant snooker. The breaks of 88 and 95, as good as you'll see. It's only the one snooker.
16.
So Vafaei would love to have had another red in, but it's going to take something special now for C to turn this match his way, when for a lot of it, feels as though he's very much made the running. He's certainly made most of the breaks.
So it is one more ball, even though it is a snooker. The next ball, usually when it's a red, is absolutely end of match.
The way this match has gone, you wouldn't completely rule out a further twist, but obviously if Vafaei can knock this red in, it's got to be over.
It's just that one thing too many, isn't it? He looked at actually playing the red below the black because he liked that away from there. That will be nagging away at his mind that, you know, if he got it down to one red, that's a snookering ball. But the other reds are not very easy to get on before then.
One.
don't know, there is always a chance of something untoward happening. It's been Twilight Zone stuff, some of this. Huge turnarounds. The problem here is to get high value colours with all of these reds and leave just that bottom one. And two up the table, especially the one on the cushion on the left side, it's hard to think you're going to pop that and get on the pink or black from it.
Nine.
It might be that he has to leave that one till last, which would not have been the plan. The red he's going to play now is the one he really wanted to save
16.
For the snookers.
Seventeen. 24.
He really wants to play the pink. The blue would just mean that there'd be 39 in it. That's a possible tie with the red and the black and a 4-point penalty. So now it is one snooker. Where he gets it, not entirely sure, but
31.
Taking the red to this end of the table and the cue ball down behind the yellow, assumingly, is what he's going to do. Oh, goodness me, what a try.
Jiahui, 31.
That is incredible. Look at that gap. How unlucky is that to leave the gap there?
And if he got any sort of nudge on the yellow, he would have been behind the yellow. Vafaei would have been in trouble. Instead, it's Jiahui in big trouble, needing a snooker and in one.
Very sportingly just tapping the table, Jiahui. He must be devastated with this loss, if it happens. But you know, you've seen the best and the worst of him today, really. Losing frames he should win and dazzling us in between it with brilliance. You know, that's him at this stage of his career.
Well,
it's going to be a loss, but I have to say, well done, Hossein Vafaei. A change of luck today.
A remarkable match. What a contest. What a compelling spectacle for this crowd here in Hong Kong. And somehow, some way, Hossein Vafaei has come through, despite making just 1/2 century to the 5 from his opponent. But Vafaei has outlasted Jiahui. He's through to the round of 16, 4-3.